Okay, Nevada King is on to something. Now, I talked about the Atlanta results a couple of weeks ago, and about as soon as I got done talking about it, two former colleagues of mine from Newmont who work for Nevada King, one a geologist, one a metallurgist, called me right away, and they said, there's more things you need to know. You need to wake up, buddy, and smell the roses here." So I listened to what Lou and Gary had to say, and I learned a lot. Okay, I talked about this discovery at Atlanta perhaps being more like a replacement style system, like a carbonate replacement or something like this. But they said no, it's not quite. Okay, they said it's not as deep level as I was suggesting, like a porphyry related deposit. This is actually related more to shallower volcanic rocks, and that is equally intriguing. Okay, it's not to say that it's a bad thing; it's actually a good thing. They think that this system is probably related to relatively recent, so more recent shallow volcanic rocks that are quite extensive through the district. What does it mean? It means that there could be a district scale play. Now, a lot of people they look at this Atlanta project, they say, "My gosh, it's way the heck down there." Like it is out of the way. Okay, this map shows the major gold fields. You got the Carlin Trend, which they don't have highlighted here, but then the Battle Mountain Eureka Trend in blue. And this thing is way down, field. I mean, this is like miles and miles downfield, and it's actually off trend. It's not on the Battle Mountain Eureka Trend. Okay, but nonetheless, this looks like it's shaping up to be a major discovery. So it's kind of a one-off that could be something just, one of these unicorn type discoveries. It could be something very, very big. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll show you why. Okay, so over the past few months, as they've released drill results, they put out these nice cross sections that show what the drill intercepts mean. I think their interpretation is very solid at this point. I know the work that Lou and team do, and I know it's very good. Okay, this cross section you can see is just south of the old pit that was there. And it doesn't extend off to the west. Note that first. Okay, so basically this is just showing the strike extent of the structural zone, the interpreted zone of gold mineralization that trends north-south through the old Atlanta pit. Okay, and they've had very good results. Basically, it's a bedded deposit that's been down faulted like piano keys. Think of these as like piano keys. But it's all oxidized. It's returning very long intervals of good mineralization, 2-3 gram oxide mineralization over tens of meters. And I think it should deliver a multi-million ounce discovery. And this right there, I'd be just happy as a clam if that was all there was to it. Like you could project that up and down section and say, "Yep, this thing's looking great." But what I missed, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why I missed it, is because I think I was in Bolivia back in March. I missed a news release. Again, I screwed up. I wasn't paying attention, but there was a news release that came out. Very important. Go to the next slide. Okay, so this cross section you can see over here on the left is just to the north of the one I just showed you, but it does extend to the west. Again, look at what they've hit off to the west. They've actually it starts to blow out, and they've hit some very long intervals of mineralization over here. My eyes are terrible, but I the numbers I'm seeing are in the. Thank you, Nathaniel. All right, they're kind of a gram to 2 gram kind of numbers, but they're over tens of meters up to even 100 meters in cases. Okay, so this thing is blowing out. What does that mean? Well, the rocks that are underneath this and the gray shaded are actually volcanic rocks and intrusive rocks. Okay, this is why the guys told me. They said, "Hey, this is related to shallow volcanic rocks that have come up." Okay, this is very exciting because this reminds me of some really big systems in Nevada. Namely Round Mountain, which is a bit to the west from here. But this is the kind of setting you see there. Okay, and what does this mean? Well, I think this big blowout might actually persist and continue in a broader area off to the west from the Atlanta pit, because this is definitely west of the Atlanta pit. Okay, it means that there's a huge volume of rock that we're dealing with here that's potentially mineralized and needs to be tested. I think the company, now that they've raised a lot of money here recently, plans to aggressively drill. From what I understand, talking to Lou and Gary, they plan to aggressively drill from the Atlanta pit more aggressively, like step out big time, and see if they can't connect this with other areas they know off to the west and to the northwest that show the similar style of mineralization. At the end of the day, what does that mean? It means that there could be an absolutely enormous volume of rock here that's mineralized by this system. I think is basically related to a giant caldera complex, and the scale of system that you have now, just based on this geology, looks like it could be huge. Again, oxidized. They're doing metallurgical work right now. Gary Simmons, who I used to work with at Newmont, is in charge of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that delivers some really positive news here soon too.